Oftentimes when I'm in conversations related to broadening participation in computer science, it's mostly limited to conversations about kind of the gender binary and race and ethnicity. And there's almost no consideration of identity behind that. And we're all much richer people than that. I work with people with disabilities and they're often left out of that conversation. Or if they're included, it's like a laundry list of attributes, but it's not really meaningfully included in those efforts. There's a lot of programming tools that are inaccessible to blind students. So they go to take, say, AP Computer Science Principles. Almost every high school that that's taught in is teaching it with a tool that's not accessible. So blind students are not going to be able to participate. So that's a really significant barrier to some of those students. Beyond that, we don't have a lot of good data about how many students with disabilities are taking computer science classes, getting computer science degrees, and graduating. And if we don't collect that data, we just don't know what's going on. So we talk a lot about getting people with disabilities into computer science education and into employment, but a whole nother piece of it is teaching about accessibility and disability within the computer science curriculum. That's part of this identity inclusive computing education. And what we hear from tech companies is that they really can't hire enough folks that have knowledge about accessibility in order to then build accessible products. So if we can start teaching students about accessibility in their courses, they'll develop skills that are useful for industry, but then also will mean we'll have more accessible technology. And so the next generation of students will start with better technology.
I think we know from research that by the time students get to higher education, if that's their pathway, that their identities are often already created. Their sense of future is often already narrowed. And if computer science isn't part of their considerations, or they feel like they don't know enough about computer science to even take an introductory course, that knowing computer science in some ways is a prerequisite for knowing computer science, which gets people caught up in that higher education space. But I think if we put it in K-12, and it's not a place where we say, hey, who wants to learn computer science, and we wait for the hands to go up, then that would greatly improve inclusion and diversity. Similar to reading, we don't ask who wants to learn to read and then teach them. We assume that it's part of our literacy and introduce it in schools. And I think then you have K-12 students and their beautiful diversity all having access to that knowledge early on, have places to connect to the community, and also be able to start forging their own sense of identity, maybe their school identity, maybe their career identity, maybe just their self-expression identity that is inclusive of computer science.